The cat jumped on my lap. Hey everyone, what's the crack? Today's video is a little bit of fun. It's focusing on the just lame sim racing excuses that we hear, especially when we're on like Discord or whatever. So I'm going to go through 5 of my, I don't know what you call them favorites, but 5 of the ones that I hear quite a lot. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments below as well. Let's do this. The very first one, and one that we've all heard no doubt, I didn't see you. I didn't see you. Were you not looking? Like, do you know what you're doing here? You're like racing on a track. Were you not, you know, I didn't see you. That just doesn't make any sense. Now, obviously it's, you know, people say it when you pull up alongside them or whatever and they just turn in on you, or yeah, it's just the positional awareness. Now there are apps like, you know, in Assetto Corsa, there are apps to be able to see around you. I highly recommend using Crew Chief. I call my Crew Chief Jeff, by the way, those of you who watch my streams. It doesn't matter what voice is on or whatever, they're always called Jeff. And Jeff will tell you, you know, car right, car left, whatever, still there, all that kind of stuff. So not being able to see cars around you, that's just a weak excuse. Like, really, you should just say, oh, I made a mistake, sorry, my fault, I messed up. Like, that's it. Not, I didn't see you, is like, it's just a shit excuse. I didn't see you. It's that you're after ruining someone's race. Like, make it your job to see people. No, like, I mean, I've done it before. I've just bashed people or whatever. But I didn't say, oh, I didn't see you. I said, you know, geez, sorry, that was just stupid. I'm an idiot. Like, I didn't see you. What's that supposed to solve? The second one, and it's a good one, is I wasn't expecting you to brake. Like, where you're going into a corner and the car in front of you brakes, you hit them, and the you know, I wasn't expecting you to brake. It's like, we're going into a corner, dude. You know, like, well, you're the car in front, I guess. You know, and you brake, and someone just bashes into it. Like, I wasn't expecting. Like, what the hell? I wasn't expecting you to brake going into a corner. Like, whenever, it's your responsibility as a driver to. Not everybody does the same lines. Not everybody has the same braking points. Your braking points should be your braking points, not someone else's. If you don't know where someone else is going to brake, and you know, they could brake early, they could brake late, the best thing to do is just don't brake on the same line as them. If you're not confident that, you know, they're going to brake in exactly the same place or later, you should be beside them at the very least. Because worst case scenario, you both brake at the same time and you don't ever come near each other. So I didn't know you were going to brake there is just a crappy excuse. I don't want to hear it. You messed up. Move on. Stop crashing into people. It's not an arcade game. Sticking on the braking theme, because that's usually where the accidents happen. My brakes locked up. Or, my brakes were cold. It's like, what a load of nonsense. Like, you know, you should know your car. You should do these practice starts. Don't try to get 100% out of your brakes, you know, on the first lap. Because, I mean, first lap, turn 1 is usually where stuff happens. And people think that, you know, they've done 100 laps and, you know, in practice, and they think that their brake performance is always going to be absolutely perfect. Especially in some of the better simulators, there's a little bit of randomness in there. You can't just expect your brakes to work all the time. So, you know, my brakes locked up is like giving your brakes their blame, but you're the one controlling those brakes. And, you know, it's not going to be, some people are going to have absolutely perfect braking on lap 1 and they will pass you. Leave them off. They're probably going to make other mistakes. If they have that much faith in their cold brakes, they're probably going to spin out at some stage anyway because they're overdriving the car. My brakes locked up is not an excuse. You are the connection to the brakes. You should know your car. Stop saying, like, the brakes are not at fault. They're doing what you're telling them. And if you're asking too much of them, it's your fault, not the brakes. another dinger. And now this is kind of because of the whole arcade and simulation thing that all, you know, my tires were cold. My tires were cold. I couldn't, like everybody's tires are cold. Like, why are you the idiot that's, you know, pretending to be a bowling ball in turn one? Like, everybody's tires are cold. It's your responsibility. You should know that this is going to happen. If your tires are cold, or if you're at the start of the race, underdrive, don't overdrive. If you're an absolute wizard and you can get 100% out of them, yeah, great. But don't go blaming your tires when you wreck someone. Like, that's just nonsense. Why would you do that? It's like, it really wrecks my head. Everybody's tires are cold. We've all been practicing for days to do this race, and your tires were cold. Oh, that's okay. So actually your tires were cold. Thanks for, you know, ruining my race. I'll just race here for the rest of the race at the back, because I don't rage quit. And I'll just race at the back here, and like, you're just got your race ruined by somebody who thinks their tires are to blame. Yes, they played a factor, but it's their fault. They overdrove the car. Now, every once in a while, stuff like that happens. That's grand. But everybody knows repeat offenders, and it's just not good enough. It's a crap excuse. Just park it, find better excuses, move on. Like your cat jumped on your lap. That's a good excuse. And finally, and the biggest one in this video, and this is going to cause some bit of controversy, we have to thank this man for, and you guys already know what I'm going to say here. There was a gap. If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver, is one of the biggest phrases in my opinion. I mean, it's a good phrase. It sounds great. It's an inspirational quote you can hang on your wall, but it's complete balls. You can't just, because there's a gap, you can't just go for it. You still need to earn the right to go into that gap. You can't just dive bomb people. People use that quote as an excuse to dive bomb people, and as an excuse to just abuse I guess what little liberties other drivers give them when they have no right to get into those positions. And hitting another car, making them spin off and taking the position is absolutely just a lousy way to gain a position. Yes, if there's a gap and you legitimately deserve to get in there, as in you got a better exit or you're better at braking or whatever, go for that gap. I'm not saying don't go for a gap. I'm just saying that don't use, if you no longer go for a gap, don't use that as an excuse to create a gap that just wasn't there. You know, going into a corner where there's a really wide entry to the corner and that's the natural racing line. Oh yeah, there's a gap on the inside. I'm just going to absolutely park it on the apex and take out this car. Oh, but there was a gap, I just went for it. That is absolute horse. You can't do that. That's just, it really, really wrecks my head. And it's one of the reasons that, you know, I know all racing drivers have that kind of, well, all the top racing drivers need to have that certain amount of arrogance. But at the end of the day, we're sim racing. Most of the people who race with us just want to have a good time. Don't be an ass. Just enjoy your racing. Create those gaps. Don't go and artificially, you know, stick a crowbar in there and pretend that you had a right to be where you just don't have a right to be. So that one really, in case you can't tell, that one really, really annoys me. I'd love to hear your favorite racing excuses in the comments below. I'm sure there are loads that I haven't heard. Even, you know, maybe not common ones. Tell me the best ones you've ever heard, because some of them are hilarious. You hear people blaming all sorts. So that's it for another top 5 video. I had a lot of fun making this video, you can probably tell. Hopefully you guys had a bit of fun watching this video. Can't wait to see what you guys write in the comments. Do remember to subscribe if you like this sort of carry on and this sort of dimension to sim racing. Do join my Discord, loads and loads of fun in there. And if you want to see this type of nonsense happening live, join my live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock Irish and UK time. I'm Lawrence, thanks a million for watching, chat to you later.